It's been a long time since we've seen a tablet with the HTC logo, and so the Nexus 9 is doubly special. Guided by Google's hand, it's not only the Android reply to the iPad Air 2, but a showcase for what Android 5.0 Lollipop can do when given more than a smartphone screen to play with. More premium in design than the Nexus 7 it replaces, not to mention larger, more powerful and, controversially, more expensive, the Nexus 9 is shaping up to be one of the fastest tablets around. On the front, there's an 8.9-inch 2048 by 1536 resolution IPS LCD touchscreen covered with the Gorilla Glass 3 panel. It's a bright screen with broad viewing angles, though an anti-reflective coating would have been a nice addition. Inside, the Nexus 9's beating heart is Nvidia's Tegra K1 processor, just as we saw in Nvidia's own Shield tablet. With Lollipop, however, its 64-bit architecture is getting used properly for the first time. HTC's paired the K1 with 2GB of RAM and either 16GB or 32GB of storage. Unfortunately, Google would rather you use Google Drive than physical memory, and so there's no memory card slot to be found. HTC's boom sound speakers are included, just as we've seen on recent Android phones from the company, and they sound great, powerful and full-bodied. Multimedia provisions also include an 8MP camera on the back, good for 1080p video recording, and a 1.6MP camera up front for 720p recording. Connectivity includes Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.1 and NFC as standard, though Google will offer an LTE version. That will only be available in 32GB form, however, and in black, not the lunar white or sand finishes the Wi-Fi version will also be offered in. Lollipop brings with it a considerable change in interface style, with Google referring to it as material design. It's still early days for our time with the Nexus 9 and too soon to say exactly how successful it is, but it already feels fresh and consistent. Features like Tap to Wake and the more flexible task switcher are welcome additions, though Google is still depending on third-party developers to rise to the challenge of creating Android apps that best take advantage of the tablet display. HTC has high hopes for its Nexus partnership with Google, and a lot is hinging on the success of the Nexus 9. It's certainly more premium a tablet than the Android slates that came before it, but it carries a premium price tag to suit. A 16GB Wi-Fi only Nexus 9 will cost you $399 for instance, putting the tablet right in the midst of Apple's recently updated iPad Air 2 and iPad Mini 3 range. We'll know how well it does when we have a chance to put the Nexus 9 through its paces for a full review. Deliveries are expected to begin in early November.